point too. Your inventory of great masters and great leaders is exceptional. One of the great tape sets you guys have is The Art of Exceptional Living by Jim Rohn. Beautiful, beautiful tape set. For those of you who need the inspiration, the spirit to carry on, even though sometimes you doubt yourself, Jim Rohn's work and Jim Rohn's ideas are priceless. So for those of you who are thinking about making the change, you may want to contact Nightingale Conant and look at that tape set, because it's a brilliant set to help you make those changes.
Through that 5 years of period, you said it's a learning curve that it takes, or it's
well said.
A 5-year transition to stick with it.
Yeah.
But commitment's a scary word for guys, though.
Oh,
commitment for 5 years. Do you have any words of wisdom to help us with that 5-year commitment?
Number one thing is you got to find a friend who wants to go there with you. I mean, one of the best things I had was I had great friends. And it was a lonely journey because job security has its benefits, and don't get me wrong. And when we said, my best friend and I, we said we're going to quit our jobs at Xerox, which are high-paying jobs, and we're going to start our own businesses. Everybody said, you two clowns are going to fail, and we did. We lost my friend Larry Clark and I started the nylon and Velcro wallet business, and we failed. But in that failure, we found out who we were. We became stronger, and we vowed we'd never go back, even though we were broke and people were laughing at us. 10 years later, Larry Clark became Inc. magazine's Entrepreneur of the Year.
Wow.
The fastest growing home builder in business, and I became the best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And the thing was, I don't think I could have made it without Larry Clark or my wife, Kim, who has been a partner in my business. My wife is just absolutely gorgeous. And I know she didn't marry me for my money, because when we got together, I didn't have any money. All we had was a dream and the courage to keep going forward in spite of no guarantees. So I would not have made it without a great wife and great friends and people to support me along the way. I think that's the most important thing. If you have friends that are holding you back, you definitely should join a network marketing company, because you need new friends.
And they all support you. That's what they're there for.
It's the emotional support that's crucial.
And Robert, just like you said, it's important to hang around like-minded individuals who support you in your goals and everything that you want to do. It's also to invest in the type of things that rich people do as opposed to poor people.
Well said.
And that would lead us into value number 4, investing in the same investments that the rich invest in.
Yes, most people are not aware that the rich don't buy the same investments the poor buy. For those of you in my board game Cash Flow 101, there's the rat race and the fast track. The rat race is where the people who are buying 401ks, mutual funds, and average investments, what I call retail products. The fast track of Cash Flow 101 is where the rich invest, and those are things of pre-IPO products. They're franchises. They're things like they're the high-yield investments. But by law, by U.S. securities law, if you're not a millionaire, according to the 1933 securities law, if you're not a millionaire, you cannot invest in the investments of the fast track. So there really are 2 tracks.
You mean so you have to be a millionaire? The government says you have to have at least a net worth of $1 million to invest in these certain things?
By law.
Wow.
And so one of the beauties of a network marketing business, and I said it again, if you only want to make $1,000 a month extra, fine, that's your goal. But a network marketing business provides the opportunity not only to make a lot of money, but the second most important way to get rich is they allow you to invest in the investments of the rich. If you ask any securities attorneys, they will tell you an accredited investor, by definition, is a person with $200,000 a year or more cash flow and $1 million net worth. In other words, you're not a millionaire. You can't invest in the investments of the rich. So if you're stuck in a job making $150,000 a year, you can't invest. And that's one of the ways the rich get richer is they're allowed to invest in the investments of the rich. Many of the people I've met who are very successful in network marketing businesses, they make even more money as investors because they're investing in the investments of the rich. So that is one of the values. That's value number 4 of a network marketing business. It allows you the possibility or the potential to invest in the best investments in the world. That's what I invest in. There's another great tape set by Nightingale Conant which I recommend, and that's called The Laws of Inner Wealth by Sir John Templeton. Sir John Templeton is the founder of the Templeton Fund. Nightingale Conant has this tape set. For those of you who understand the spirituality of money or want to and really more understand the spiritual values of investing and being wealthy, Sir John Templeton is the individual. He is the master. He is the mentor everybody should listen to. Sir John Templeton is the man who resigned from his fund, although he still guides it, and instead he's putting all of his money to spread spirituality throughout the world. So that is the power that this man, John Templeton, has, and he is on the tape set that's part of the library at Nightingale Conant. So again, I'll say it goes back to value number one, the value of Nightingale Conant, as well as many network marketing businesses, more than wealth, it teaches you to be spiritually wealthy. My rich dad said the best way to get rich is by being generous. And what I have found, there are more people who became rich by being generous, by serving more people. That's how they become rich. That's why Sir John Templeton thinks of wealth, the inner wealth of money, as a spiritual process, because all you want to do is serve as many people as you can. I found many employees and self-employed who are the most greedy of all. They say, well, I'm not going to work unless you pay me. Well, what's in it for me? Whereas to be a business owner, to be a network marketing business, you don't get paid unless you serve other people. It is really a great system. The only way a network marketing person becomes wealthy is by making other people wealthy first. And I love that process. I think that's why one of the beauties of network marketing businesses is it teaches people the true meaning of being generous and how to become wealthy by being generous. Value number 5 is the value of living your dreams. Most people don't live their dreams because they've been conditioned to say, I can't afford it, or you can't do that, or I'll never be rich anyway. In other words, you kill your own dreams, and if you don't kill them, your friends will. They'll knock you down. So the beautiful part of being around positive people in the network marketing business is they want you to have your dreams. In other words, the more they inspire you or encourage you to have your dreams, the more they're going to get theirs. As I said, my rich dad said the best way to become rich is by being generous. In network marketing business, you don't get rich unless you make other people rich. So that's why instead of knocking people's dreams down, which we all know people who do that, say, well, you can't do that, or, what if you fail, and all that negative stuff, you're surrounded by people in the industry who want you to have your dreams. And then let me say this, my rich dad used to say, if you don't have your dreams, why live life? If you don't have this hope that tomorrow will be a better day, or a bigger day, and a more prosperous day, then why live? I mean, so many people say, well, this is the best I can do, and they live in a little shonky little house, drive the old beat-up car, and they think they're being magnificent or spiritual. I think they're being horrible to themselves. If you have the potential to become extremely wealthy, why not? And that's what the network marketing business brings to you and me, average people. And I love that stuff. The beautiful thing that I had was my poor dad always told me I couldn't have my dreams. He says, we can't afford that. We can't afford that trip to Disneyland. We can't afford the big house. And my rich dad always said, never say that. Never lose your dreams, because you lose your dreams, life's not worth living. So I'm not saying money is the most important thing in the world, but it does seem to affect everything that is important. In other words, money does affect your health. That most families, most fights are over money. So I'll say it again. Money's not the most important thing in the world, but it does affect everything that is important. And that's why having your dreams is important. And let me tell you, I have been poor. I've said before, my wife and I were homeless once for 3 weeks. And we were unhappy. We fought more. And I didn't think we were going to make it as a couple. Yet that experience of being poor actually made us stronger. And today, 15 years later, we're more madly in love with each other because the experience made us stronger as well as richer. Today, we're more in love with each other. We never have to say, I can't afford it. I really cannot say there's anything I don't have that I don't want, or that I want that I don't have. I can afford anything I want. And that is one of the most spiritual, peaceful, joyous feelings I can have. And you have to ask yourself, is your job or your hard work going to get you there? If not, you may want to make a change. You may want to change and join people who are going for the dreams instead of killing other people's dreams.
And plus, having money just opens up you to another level where you can dream even more. You can dream thoughts you've never even dreamt of because you don't have the problems of money holding you back.
Exactly. I mean, what you're saying here is that once you achieve your dreams, there's only bigger dreams. And it's nothing to do with a new car or new clothes, because that becomes ridiculous. I don't need any more wristwatches. I can only wear one at a time. I can only wear one pair of shoes at a time. I have 5 cars. I'm going to drive one at a time. What it opened up for me was the potential of being of greater service to my fellow human beings. Right now, we're building a website, putting my Cashflow 101 game online to teach people how to be rich. So if you can imagine that a kid in Zimbabwe can play a kid in Beijing